You've likely noticed that animals and babies flock to you, even when you haven't said a word. You're at a party or in a park, and while everyone else is trying to win over the dog walks right past them and rests its chin on your knee. No whistling, no treats, no coaxing. The owner is standing there, mouth open, saying, "He never does that." Most people call it a vibe or good luck, but if you're that person, you know it's not random. It happens everywhere you go. And it's not magic, it's actually biology. And once you understand the science of why this happens, you'll realize that the very thing that makes you a magnet for the innocent is often the same thing that makes you difficult for everyone else. Let's get one thing straight. Most people ask the wrong question. They ask, why do they like me so much? That's the wrong inquiry. The more accurate question is, what am I transmitting that pre-verbal beings are able to detect? Because here's the reality regarding infants and animals. They are operating without social filters. A 7-month-old child has no concept of your career, your social media following, or your professional title. A golden retriever couldn't care less how charismatic you are at a dinner party. These beings are functioning purely on biological instinct, and those instincts are ancient, refined, and incredibly precise. They aren't listening to your pitch, they're reading your nervous system. There is actual, quantifiable bioelectric activity generated by the human heart. Research from the HeartMath Institute has proven this extensively. This field radiates beyond the physical body. Every individual in a room is, in a literal sense, broadcasting a frequency. Babies and animals are tuned into that transmission with a sensitivity that most adults have completely filtered out. So when a dog chooses you, it's not vibes, it's data. The dog performed a biological scan, and your results came back as safe. Now, let's talk about the performance. Think about how most adults behave when they see a baby or a pet. They lean forward, they change their voice to that high-pitched, cooing tone, they reach out their hands. They are demanding a reaction. There's an invisible weight in that interaction, a silent demand. Perform for me, be cute, acknowledge me, make me feel like a good person. And animals, they detect that weight instantly. To them, it feels like static. It feels like a threat. Empaths, particularly those who have navigated high-pressure environments, often develop the opposite trait without even knowing it. They have learned how to not impose their will. They don't require every social encounter to produce a result. They can simply exist in a space without projecting that grasping, hungry energy that most people radiate unconsciously. To a creature whose entire nervous system evolved to distinguish between a threat and a sanctuary, the absence of that grasping energy is everything. Research into animal-assisted therapy shows that animals gravitate toward practitioners who score highest on empathy assessments. They make this choice in seconds. It's an instinctive diagnostic. They are diagnosing internal regulation, a sense of stillness. But here's where it gets uncomfortable. Most adults have learned how to fragment themselves. They learn to smile while they're boiling with rage. They say, everything's fine, while their world is collapsing. They perform the emotions they think are expected of them. They're running two different scripts at once, what they truly feel and the mask they show the world. Babies cannot be tricked by that mask, neither can animals. They respond to coherence when what is happening inside a person perfectly aligns with what is being shown on the outside, when the body and the emotional state are broadcasting the same message. If you are that person that animals flock to, it's because your internal world and your external mask are remarkably aligned. You aren't performing, you aren't fragmenting. And for a nervous system designed to spot deception and danger, that is profoundly, deeply comforting. But here is the part that might be difficult to hear. The very same quality that makes an animal cross the room to sit with you, that quiet, non-demanding, coherent presence, is often the exact same quality that makes certain adults feel uneasy around you. Most people are addicted to the performance. They're used to people managing the mood, mirroring their energy, and giving them the social cues they expect. When they meet someone who isn't doing any of that, someone who is just authentically, quietly present, it creates a subtle sense of friction. They can't explain it. They might call you intense, or difficult to read, or too reserved. What they're actually reacting to is the absence of the social game they've spent their whole lives playing. They don't know how to handle someone who refuses to play along, not because you're being cold, but because you never felt the need for the armor.
So, you find yourself in this unique position. The beings who haven't yet learned to hide behind masks trust you immediately, and the beings who have built high walls and learned to fragment themselves feel vaguely bothered by you, and they don't know why. That isn't a character flaw, that is information. So the next time a dog leaves everyone else behind to find you, or a child stares at you as if they're reading your entire life story, don't just dismiss it. It isn't a coincidence. It is your nervous system, after everything it has endured, still broadcasting safety, still open, still real. And honestly, the babies and the animals figured out who you really were long before most people did. Now, I want to hear your side of this. Write a comment below and share your most powerful story of an animal or a child reacting to you in this way. I truly believe the experiences shared in this comment section are going to be incredibly revealing. Let's hear them.